I'll just say yes. You lead the way. I'm not afraid of what it means for me to say. This life you gave is not my own. I'm trusting you to hear my yes and lead me on. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. My life is yours. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. My life is yours. And there is peace when I say yes. I might not see it now, but you save the best for those who trust you and obey. There is an answer, no more delay. I'll just say yes, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, Lord. My life, it is yours. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of A Song, a Word, and a Prayer. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. So far, you've been enjoying this program and that it has been encouraging you. Yesterday, I shared on my Facebook Live how I was being distracted by failure, how my situations were causing me to become demotivated and, kind of losing track of some of the things that God has been directing me to do. So I recently broke off a relationship that I thought, well, God broke it off, not me. A relationship I currently was in was broken off by God, and it was somewhat of a disappointment to me because I thought that this was something that God wanted and that God was in agreement with. However, I kept praying. I'm that person who's going to pray until I actually get to the altar. And if God said no before we put on the rings, I am walking out of there and I'm not going through with it. But anyways, I was seeking God in regards to this. And like any other young woman, I want to be married. I want to have kids. I want to be with somebody who I can share my life with and grow in God with. And it's not easy when you're single and mature. When you're my age and you're still single, it's even harder to stay on track. And I truly only desire to walk in purity and only to walk in God's will. So for me, it's something that I've desired and I've prayed to God for. I've sought God's face for, and I'm still seeking God's face for. So you must know this was a huge disappointment for me. However, I listened to a message yesterday on Sunday, and one of the things that the minister said, and this is something I spoke about in my live on yesterday, and I can post it the link to it in my description so you guys can go back and watch that. But the message being preached by that minister was stay focused. And one of the things that he said was, do not be distracted by failure. I personally believe that I was distracted by failure. That the mere fact that this relationship failed and that it did not end up in marriage was something that was distracting me from my purpose. It got me demotivated. It got me wondering, questioning God. I've been praying to you. I've been seeking you. And, what happened? Like, why didn't this go through? And sometimes it's okay to not know the answer. Sometimes when God says no, we don't always get the full picture. He doesn't always come and explain to us why he didn't allow us to get married to an individual, why he didn't allow us to get a job. Why is it so much harder for you to become successful than it is for another individual? Why do I keep failing at courses? Why am I not in college? Why can't I afford college? Why I don't have a house? Why I don't have a... Like, there's so many different things in our lives that we have questioned God about, and we wonder why other individuals have it but we don't have it. So relationships have been one of those things that I've always kind of spoke to God about and questioned him about. But my prayers were always that, God, if I am in a relationship with somebody, if I'm dating someone and we are discussing marriage, if it is not your will, then separate us. And that is literally what God did. And it doesn't speak to the character. It doesn't mean that the individual was a bad person. It doesn't mean that I was a bad person. It just simply means that that's not what God wanted. That's not the person that God wanted me to be joined in holy matrimony with. And I am okay with that. Yes, initially it's hard to kind of accept that, because as humans, when you set your hopes on something or your sights on something, when it's ripped away from you or pulled away from you, you do get disappointed. And that was what happened with me. But as the preacher said, don't get distracted by failure. I believe that the fact that this relationship failed was something that had caused me to be distracted from what I was doing. I didn't want to do videos anymore. I've been working on some other stuff. I didn't feel motivated to do it. And this is something that happened in the last couple of weeks. Anybody who's been paying attention to me online may have noticed a little bit of a drop in my, I don't know. There was a little bit of a shift, but I kept pushing through. And I believe that for a lot of us as young Christians, we are faced with a lot of disappointments in life, and sometimes the devil uses that to distract us from our purpose in God. First of all, it is very important that we ask God what our purpose is, that we speak to him and ask him to give us a vision that he has for our life. I believe that when you know what your purpose is, when God says no, when these disappointments come along, you still keep pushing forward. And it's very important also that when God speaks to you and directs you and tells you no, that you follow that no. And I am a living testimony of an individual who have rejected no's from God before. God has told me no in situations, and I have I'm not going to even be fake, I'm going to be real. I have ignored God telling me a no before, and I have paid the consequences for it. And I know a lot of us sometimes may have done the same thing. But when you are pursuing your purpose in God, when you are walking in your purpose with God, especially as a single individual, it is very important that the individual that God joins you with aligns with this purpose that he's calling you to. Doesn't mean that they're going to have the same purpose as you, but somehow, some way, the purpose that God is calling you to will somehow be complemented or something by the person that you're with. Or the mere fact that that person knows their purpose will allow you to have an even better marriage. I know that individuals, now I'm off on a tangent. I don't know how I got here. But there are individuals who get married and they are not sure of what God is calling them to or where God is bringing them to. And that doesn't mean that the marriage will not work, but I do believe that it makes it more difficult, especially if it is the man. And not only the man should know, but if a man is to lead his household and lead his wife, he must know where he's going. It's like driving in a car with an individual who has a map out, and every minute they have to pull over on the roadside and they take a wrong turn here, they take a wrong turn there. If there's another car behind you following that car, probably meeting an accident, or get so frustrated because they are trusting you to lead them to the destination and you yourself is confused. It is the same thing with a man when he is to lead his household as the head of the household, as God says. So very important for you to know your purpose before you even pursue a relationship with an individual. And if you are somebody who already has clarity on where God is leading you, then it's very important that you, before you get into something with someone, that you ensure that they also know where they are going, because you don't want to be led in the wrong direction and you don't want confusion. But anyways, that's a totally different topic, and maybe I can touch on that another time. But what I'm saying is that when God says no, whether it's to a job, whether it's to maybe a business opportunity that you've been pursuing, maybe it's something to do with school, maybe it's something to do with, you know, your physical, like you want to have kids and you just have not been able to have kids as yet. All of these different disappointments are things that we should take to God and kind of ask him, why is there a delay? Why is it no? You know, what else is there for me? Am I pursuing the wrong thing? Do I need to change course and go a different direction? Is it not time yet? Is that the reason why you said no or wait? And also, I want to make sure that I'm clear that not because you have roadblocks or you have bumps in the way, it means that it's a no. We must be very clear on the two different scenarios. There will be things that God is sending you towards or pushing you towards or bringing you to that will have a lot of different disappointments and challenges, but that does not mean that it's a no. And then there will be a clear, concise no. That's not what I want for you. So we should be able to discern the difference between the two. When you're sure about what God is bringing you to and he has given you that peace about it, when problems come, that won't allow you to say, I'm no longer pursuing it, I'm no longer going in that direction, because you're sure that this is something God has called you to. And that may be people who are going into ministry. I'm sure many ministers, before they got to where they were, they'll tell you that they went through a lot of different trials and tribulations before they actually got to the church that they have now or the amount of success they have had in their ministry. So that's totally different. If you think about the story of Jacob and Rachel and how Jacob had to work 14 years in order to get his wife. When he found Rachel and he, you know, went to her father and said, I want to marry your daughter, and the father told him, you have to work 7 years in order to get her as your wife. And then that same father deceived him and gave him his eldest daughter Leah instead of Rachel to marry. Jacob didn't decide that he was no longer going to pursue Rachel, but what he did was he worked another 7 years in order to get what he knew was for him and what God had called him to. So that's just a clear example of when you know God is pushing you in that direction, but you've had disappointments along the way. Stay the course, do not get distracted by it. Still pursue what God is bringing you to. And then there will be things that we've been pursuing or things that we've chosen to put our efforts in that God is saying no. We must be able to be obedient to that no and still wait on God for him to direct us in the direction that he truly wants us to go. So this is just my little encouragement to everyone, and kind of just a little story time of things that I'm going through personally. And I'm not going to be fake. I want to be transparent. I think that we can grow together as Christians if we are more honest about some of the things that we go through. And I'm not afraid to say I'm single. I know I look good even though I'm single, so no problem there. That was a little self-absorbed, but whatever. I'm not ashamed to say that I'm single. I'm not afraid to own it, and I'm okay when God tells me no in situations and I have to start all over again. Yes, at first it'll be hard to accept, but I'm willing to accept it and pursue God to see where he is bringing me to and prepare myself for what he's bringing me to. So that's just my little encouragement to everyone. I want to pray for you and ask that God will bring you the desires of your heart, that when he says no, that you will be obedient to listen to his voice. I pray that in every situation that you face, that you will ask God's will, that you allow him to lead you in the direction that he wants you to go. I pray that God will continue to lead every single individual that is watching this video, and that they will be able to discern his voice and to know when it is the enemy that is being, you know, a distraction or pushing us against a wall or trying to put boundaries and all sorts of blockage in where God is bringing us to, versus when God is truly saying to us that this is not where I want you to go, this is not where I want you to be. You need to stop and ask me once again, what is your will, and follow me wholeheartedly. I pray that God will begin to work on all our hearts, on our minds, on our desires, that we will only desire his will and we'll only walk in his will. We thank you, Lord, for everything that you've revealed to us and how you continue to encourage our hearts as we pursue you. We lift up your name, we give you honor, and we say thanks in Jesus' name. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video encouraged someone who might be going through a similar situation as I went through, and that you may be able to share with someone as well what you've gone through so that they can be stronger in their walk with God. Don't forget to subscribe to Breaking Bread with KT on YouTube, or follow me on Facebook at Breaking Bread with KT as well, and on Instagram at ktmusic.inc. I love you guys. Don't forget to do good to all the people you can in all the world, and be blessed. Have an awesome week, guys. Bye.